All right. Well, going to Tron Games. I know it's been a long time since I actually put one of these things together, but I had to move my new place and make sure overall that my family was good on top of that. So, welcome back to Tron Games. What we have for you today, well, my view looks a little different with me being in Shreveport and things, but what we have for you today is actually a little bit of what's called King's Quest 6. So please enjoy King's Quest 6. Read the description. There's actually a lot of games made by Roberta Williams that I enjoyed, and I know that my family enjoyed growing up. Um, you know, King's Quest, she had her hand in a lot of others. But creating Sierra games back in the day was actually one of her claims to fame, and was still active in the game industry up until real recent. And as you know, when you've been creating games from the 80s until now, you get a little older. And so completely understand, need to take a step back and things. But Roberta Williams, King's Quest games, highly recommend playing a lot of the games, okay? But what we're going to do is go ahead and shift into King's Quest. I had actually done nothing different than to make sure that the game works. And we can actually enjoy it together, all right? So the gist of this is you crash on an island. Alexander, that's the main character, the person you see on the screen, he actually is supposed to be finding his princess. And if you followed a bit of the series from up until 1 until now, King's Quest 6 is actually a little bit of a break between a lot of things. Not much continuation of the story, not much continuation of the King's Quest journey. But what I will say is highly lovable in its own separate way. When I was younger, I actually used to sit on my dad's lap, and we would either play this. He would put up TIE Fighter, or something like Descent with me, my brother, and him, and we would all control certain things. If it wasn't King's Quest back in the day, it was Police Quest, which we've already kind of covered on one of the channels. But before we really get into it, I'm going to go ahead and unmute the game sound so that way you all can enjoy what's going on. All right. So when you land, I mean, you got so many things that you can. This wood log, the stone, you got this thing in your face, and they're all important. Right? So go ahead and pick that up.
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach.
Royal insignia ring. You know, that's important because it's Prince Alexander.
Alexander pushes the plank to one side. A box has been partially buried under sand.
Little box. Let's just go ahead and investigate. Tiny thing.
Alexander takes the coin and leaves the ruined box where it is.
Gotta let that go. Takes the coin. So if you look at the coin,
Alexander is carrying a copper coin of Devonry. King Graham graces the front of the coin.
King Graham, throwback to the old King's Quest. And then if you look at the ring...
Alexander's ring is made of the purest gold and has the insignia of the royal family of Daventry on its face.
Daventry? Yep. Definitely royals, right? So you landed here. What are we trying to find? People, places, things. See the castle off in the distance? I like to go there first. And you'll see in a little bit. Like it passes the time. There's things that if you don't do this first, you got to come back. Oh.
Two guards.
The guard dogs.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors, hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm, and I'm a little confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets. You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad, and this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
The Isle of the Crown. But tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
Then Princess Cassima must live in this very castle.
I want to say
the
so
princess
much.
is indeed our treasured jewel to guard, and we consider it an honor.
So clearly they're looking for somebody doing something, and you're on the Isle of the Green Isles, which is where we're at, and we need to find our princess. I'm actually going to skip through a lot of the dialogue here. If you really want to play the game in depth, feel free. But there's certain things that you can do to kind of make it go a little quicker. So,
Alexander decides.
Good day. I'm...
What does it say? Kingdom?
You're a prince. Show the ring. In doing this makes a person named Jallo appear.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
What do you mean?
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Vizier Alhazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please.
And the Vizier is actually the antagonist of the story. If you've played a lot of these games, they always have somebody.
Lord Alhazred, a visitor to see you. Prince Alexander of Daventry.
This genie is important.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
This guy's
Pardon the
important.
intrusion, my
he's
lord.
He's the main
But I
reason
came
you're
to
playing
see
the game.
Princess Cassima. Some
This
months
guy
ago,
is
my
kinda
father,
just-
King Graham,
he's a guard,
saved my
he's a guard
family and
dog.
I from
All right, so
imprisonment
it
under
just-
an evil wizard named
he's
Mordak.
there, right? So
The same wizard that kidnapped
if
the
you're
princess?
playing this game, you need to pay attention
Then your
to the
father,
dialogue.
Casima's
The dialogue has a lot to say.
Perhaps I will, Captain Sam.
And it's very, like, look at me right now. I'm clicking through it. There's so many things that you can actually just get through and miss.
You have had your hearing with Vizier Alhazred. I trust you'll respect his wishes and not return.
We can't come
I
back.
have been instructed.
Captain Saladin.
We can't come back. So if we go around the side of this castle,
Alexander.
you're gonna see. Now there's actually two different ways to play the ending of this game. One of them's right here. You ain't never gonna come back to this until the end of the game. Right? The quicker way I may identify, but I really don't want to play it. Ends about an hour and a half before you really should stop playing. And if you came back up here and had some clothes from one of the folks that you come across later, you actually change clothes here and walk in through the front door, and my God, it is not the same game after that. Too many things, too many people. Alright, but we can't go back up there. They're gonna tell. Alright, but we can go into the city. They didn't stop us from doing that. This lamp guy, not important until the end of the game, okay?
Good day.
Good day, merchant. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt, and so nearly has my business.
When I was younger, I didn't
Why the long
understand
ages
what
of
the heck
peace
was
have
going on with
ended,
the ferry.
and why the
I
crown
just
has not
wanted to
done
put it
something
back in
about
the
it
water,
is beyond
and
me.
I didn't realize that getting a
But
ferry,
then, I am a
ready to
shopkeeper, not a
sail is
politician,
not just
and can
putting it
only
back
hope
in
for
the
better
water.
days.
Needs sealed, needs polished, needs cleaned.
How bide you, good...
Quite well.
If you just keep talking to him,
I have this copper coin.
he's gonna like.
Is it of
go
any
back and
value
forth.
to you at all?
Do not. If you're playing this game for the
Most
first time, do
interesting.
not
I have
give
never
him
seen a Daventry
your
coin
ring
before,
right now,
but it
'cause if
is
you give
copper
him your
genuine
ring,
enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign
you
currency.
forego what's about to actually
The items
happen
on the
when
front
I leave
counter
this
are the
shop.
only things in the store that...
Alexander
So, get
That
the nightingale.
mechanical
That's one of the
nightingale
first
looks
things.
intriguing.
The other things on the desk
believe I'll
are
take it.
useful,
Very well.
I'll...
but they're not
Get
as
Alexander-
useful as things right now. Boom, got it. Go to Ali's.
Hello. I will be right up.
This person,
Now, what
He's
can
the-
I do?
he's the genie. You know, the person that I identified in the middle. Every time you see him, the genie. He's
Alexander picks up the
Oh,
evil.
yes,
He owns
please.
himself to
Really?
somebody else. So,
the shopkeeper.
Good day, sir. I'm a...
That is quite...
My name...
You... This... There are
At least...
legend...
this
Then...
guy
That's
ends up
quite-
telling you that there's
those
legends,
first three
there's
I
things you
did
should be looking
perhaps, and
for.
Thank you...
He actually tells you about a spell book.
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had. Poofed himself into an aardvark in... I tell...
He did a rare book.
Thinking of Cosima, and the hair, not upon the shore.
Alexander has
what
to
was
go
it when
find the love.
the name of love? Alexander Alexander. It's
I see.
You can
I
actually
do
read
rather
this
like
black
it.
book on the table.
Thank you, merchant.
If you do, it just passes time. So anyways, he, in this dialogue, if you listen to it, he actually talks to you about the ship. And he talks to you about traveling between isles.
Good day.
And he actually tells you to talk to this guy.
How bide you, good...
Quite well.
But one thing you really need to do
Alexander
is
ta-
get a mint. And you'll see in a little bit that once we come back, like come down here, that black character is actually going to be right there. Alright, but we grab that, and when you grab the mint, it triggers other things in the game. And I think in Ali's, you'll see Jalo. Yep.
Good day again. How may I help you?
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land?
Alexander.
So if you don't do this in the beginning of the game and you're playing the long game, one of the really big things that comes from this is you can't actually complete the game unless you do this. And this is why you don't show the shopkeep your ring, because if you do, there's potential there for him to take it and show you the map when you've not even heard the story about the story. Right? So if you give your ring up to the shopkeep in the other building, you can't do this. If you can't do this, by the end of the game, if you played the long run or short run, you're going to lose because this guy will never help you. So you have one shot in the beginning of the game to get this right, and you have to give him your ring for him to show that. Now you get your ring back, and you'll get your ring to get the other guy the ring for your map. But if you don't show him this now, you cannot beat the long version of this game, which is the most full. Ain't that crazy? How many games nowadays do you know that actually set up this early in the game that if you didn't do something, you fail at the end and have to start over? Because that's what you have to do. If you get all the way to the end and you see that guy sitting at a table, it could have taken you a week to get to that point. It's now going to take you 2 weeks to get over yourself and get back to that point. For you to show this person.
Determined to learn more about the strange man's relationship with the princess, Alexander shows the man his insignia ring and formally introduces himself.
I'm sorry to insist, but my name is Alexander of Daventry, and...
I appreciate the offer of the ring, Alexander, but I'm afraid I'm already spoken. Daventry? Where have I heard of Daventry? Flying flit mice. You must be Prince Alexander. Cosima told me about you when she arrived home. How came you here?
Why, by a ship now wrecked upon the sand. But you know Cosima? She truly spoke of me?
Yes, I saw her briefly when she first returned home. She mentioned a prince to me, Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm afraid that was before she was told about her parents' deaths. You see, she arrived home a few weeks too late. The king and queen thought they'd never see her again.
What a terrible...
What he says is that if Jalo
about her grief,
well,
has any updates, he needs to come back and let him know. And then after this, everything in this section open to you. Right. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and save. You can see that I've already got, a lot of saves. Starts, and then going to babies. You'll see that a little later where you feed them some milk and they start crying. Other starts. I'm just gonna go ahead and save over the start, and then we'll come back to it.
Taking off your adventurer's cap so soon?
Yeah, why not? But I definitely wanted to give you all a little insight to it. In King's Quest VI, if you've not played any of the King's Quests, 6 is a good place to start based off of how we know games nowadays. But if you're looking for a challenge, 1 is still good to this day. 2 is still good to this day. 3 is still good. I'd skip 4 and 5, but they're still important, right? But 6 is where I'd start, right? But other than that, I'm going to head on out. Tomorrow I got some schoolwork. I'm still looking to play some games, but I definitely have to get around to actually finish some things with school. All right. So other than that, just wanted to show you the start. Steam has it on sale. Not that expensive. Get the King's Quest collection. Get the Police Quest collection, because we're about to play a lot of those classic game collections. But other than that, we're going to do is head on out. Speedtron Games. We will see you another time. Thank you.